Welcome to Dining Delight's special dessert edition. Today we're going to make a summer favorite, and that is ice cream. We're also going to make a little cup made of an ice cream cone essentially to hold that beautiful ice cream. And we're going to go with kind of a unique flavor profile today. We are going to do an ice cream made with basil flavoring. We're going to add a little bit of lemon, vanilla, and we're going to top it with some blueberries. It's going to be absolutely wonderful. So to start, what we're going to do is going to start getting some heavy cream and some milk warm in our pan right here, just like this. And we want both cream and milk. That cream will help it set, and that milk kind of dilutes it down a little bit so it doesn't turn to butter when we freeze it. Now, basil. This is one of my favorites. You can see we have a nice fresh basil plant here. These leaves are nice and beautiful, these little ones. But what we have here is these super big leaves. These super big leaves are what we're going to use because we can get a lot more oil out of them and a lot more flavor. So if you're going to make ice cream or something that you really want to get that extra basil flavor, I recommend finding the biggest leaves that you can possibly get. And what I like to do this is I am just going to roll this right up, and we're going to do similar to what a chiffonade is. Chiffonade means ribbon in French, and we're going to make some nice little ribbons like this and just go straight through. And we'll start that cutting process. And I'm trying to do it nice and thin. What's happening as we're doing this nice and thin is as we're cutting, those layers are opening up the pores, releasing all that oil from that basil. As that oil is releasing, that's what's going to go into our ice cream and add that flavor. We're actually going to strain the basil right out of it, but we do want all that oil to leave that residual flavor, and it also adds a little bit of color. So we're going to get our basil right in here, just like this. And we want to stir and make sure it's completely coated. And you'll see it's coming up to a good temperature right now. Now, while this is heating up and almost scalding, in another bowl, we are going to get 5 egg yolks and whisk those up really well with our whisk. And this is just the yolks. This will just add that rich, creamy flavor. And then I'm going to add monk fruit. Monk fruit is a sweetener made from the swindle fruit. It's usually found mostly in China, not super often in America. You can buy a lot of sweetener for it. It works one-to-one with traditional sugar replacement. One nice thing about it is it has no calories, and it does have a nice sweet flavor. So we're going to add that monk fruit right into our yolks. And we're going to whisk it until we can get a nice pretty color here. And you'll see how that nice color is turning bright yellow. That's really what we want. And then as it starts to get mixed really well, it will actually lighten up a little bit in color. And that's what we're looking for, a little bit lighter. We're going to add some vanilla in here like this, just like that. Now, while our milk is scalding, it's starting to get hot, starting to look like it's ready to boil. What I'm going to do is grab a towel and put it underneath my bowl. And if you have more than one person at the same time, this is an easy technique. Somebody else can hold the bowl. But what we want to do is we want to temper these eggs, and we're going to actually reheat it back up to make a custard. So I'm going to go in with just a little stream like this, because if we add this right away, all the way super hot coming out of this pan, it'll scramble those eggs. We don't want those eggs to scramble. So it's a gradual process as we temper them, adding just a little bit at a time. And it makes them so they start to actually get nice and creamy without scrambling. So now we can go a little faster here. And now that our eggs are all the way tempered, we'll get all that back in the pan. We can scrape this down. We are going to go right in with our egg mixture to the pan still on the heat. Scrape all that goodness out. Have a little bit of monk fruit at the bottom. And we're going to stir until it starts to thicken up and get nappé. Nappé means it will coat the back of a spoon, and it only takes maybe 30 or 40 seconds. And you'll notice that that green basil is still in there. We have all that flavor still going. And while we're stirring, we're going to go ahead and add some lemon zest. And again, we're pulling just the oils out of that lemon zest. We're not trying to put the lemon zest in the ice cream, just the oils and the flavor. We're going to stir just quickly here. And it's almost up to where it's going to start getting thick. Okay, our egg yolks are starting to cook and thicken as it's coming up to a simmer. And the sauce itself looks like almost like kind of the texture of a sauce you would put on a plate. That's what we want. This is the basic custard that we want for our ice cream. And I am actually going to go right into a strainer right here, just like this. And we're going to strain all of that basil out and all of that lemon. We want just nice ice cream texture, and you see that. Go ahead and mash it down. I'll even get a spatula and push some of this through. That extra flavor. Just like that. Now, we want this to cool at room temperature before we put it in the freezer, but it is very important that you take a piece of saran wrap like this, or plastic wrap, and we're going to go right into the bowl. I like to put it on my hand right down to the center. We're going to go right onto the surface. And what this is going to do is stop it from forming that dried barrier that nobody likes when they have pudding or anything. It will also form on this, so we want to make sure that it stays nice and smooth. Now, we're going to let this cool at room temperature for maybe 30 minutes and then straight into your freezer. I recommend freezing it for about 90 minutes, and we'll show you what it looks like when it's ready. Now, our basil ice cream is in the freezer freezing. While it is freezing, we are going to go ahead and start making our ice cream cone cups that we're going to use to eat the ice cream in. First thing I'm going to start with is some egg whites. This is a couple of 2 egg whites, and I want to whisk just until they have a little bit of air in them. We're not trying to, make big fluffy meringue or anything. We just want to get it nice and started like that. We're going to add some milk, just a touch, and mix. A touch of vanilla, a pinch of salt, sugar, just like that. And we're going to add just a little bit of flour to give it some binder. So you'll see this is going to be kind of like a thin version of almost a batter that you would think of would be like on a pancake or something similar. And we're just going to mix it until it gets nice and smooth. And then this is the real important part. You want this batter to be smooth before we add the butter in. And this is melted butter. It's cooled down just a little bit, so it's not going to cook the eggs. I'm just going to go right in like this. And now we have a nice smooth, you can see nice smooth batter to work with. And we can set that down. Is use a non-stick pan. I'm going to take some of my batter right into the bottom of this pan, and I'm looking for about a 4 to 5 inch circle. And so I'm going to tilt the pan like this to get a nice thin layer, kind of like making a crepe. Only we're just going to go just to about that point right there, and we're going to let it go for a second. And as soon as it's brown on one side, we're going to flip it right over, and we'll be ready to work with it and start shaping it into a bowl. Okay, our cone cup is nice, cooked in the golden brown on the bottom. We're going to flip it over, and we're just going to cook this side for just about 30 seconds. We just want it to get nice and cooked all the way through. It was almost cooked when we turned it. So just a short little cook. And we're going to go onto a bowl like this, and we're going to shape. We're going to kind of hold our cup down, and it will turn into the shape as it cools. Just go ahead and hold it down. And they will look something like this. And we're going to go ahead and do another one. We're going to spread that batter out, maybe a little bit thinner. Okay, our little cup cones are nice and set up. They're dried, ready to hold some ice cream. Our basil ice cream out of the freezer, look at that. It looks beautiful, it's nice and frozen. We're gonna go ahead and take a nice big portion out of that. Whoop, a little soft it looks like. Nice big portion right on the inside like that. Gonna give it a little bit of basil garnish to go onto the side. And we're gonna put some blueberries on there just to kind of give it a little bit more tartness to go with that sweet basil ice cream. And there we have it, basil ice cream with our ice cream cone cup. Thank you for watching tonight's episode. I hope you get a chance to make this portobello mushroom steak and the summer pasta primavera really soon for your family and friends. You can go to cookwithchefchris.com for the recipes, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you.